Hi guys, and welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to do 5 really quick and easy dart rotations on your bodice block to create 5 new styles. These are the styles that we're going to do today. Let's start with the simplest and we'll finish on the most complicated. You're going to need the front of your bodice block, minor and quarter scale, just to make it easier to demonstrate. I've got a drill hole at my apex and I've stepped my 2 darts slightly back. That makes sure my piece is strong and doesn't break when I rotate it. I've also got a full front bodice, which I've opened up so that we can do an asymmetric style. I've drilled my apex and I've set my darts back. You're also going to need a sharp pencil. I'm going to use a felt tip, but that's only so you can clearly see what I'm doing. Please use a sharp pencil. And you're also going to need a rubber. The last thing that you're going to need is your pattern master and some pattern paper. So let's get started with our first style. So the first step that we want to do is to draw on our new dart position. So we start at our apex and draw towards the centre front. The next step that we want to do is to rotate our darts into one. The top dart will go to centre front and the bottom dart will go to the same one. Let's start by tracing the part of the block we know won't move. Next, grab a pencil or something sharp, pop it in your apex and close the top dart. Now we can trace around the second part of our block, all the way down to our new dart position. Now we want to rotate the bottom one closed. So again, we put a pencil in the apex, rotate and trace around the last part of our block. At this point you want to make sure that your apex is definitely marked through onto underneath paper. So you can take away your block and now close your new dart. So you go from point to your apex. And there you've got it, your new pattern piece. So you no longer need these lines. You can rub those out. If you want to double check the position of your dart, you can close it using a sharp corner. So place your apex over the corner and fold along one side of the dart. And then you want to fold it so that you're closing your dart. For our princess seam, the first step is to mark on our new dart line. So I'm going to do my princess seam going into my armhole. So I mark from my apex to my armhole. And now we can rotate our dart. We're going to leave the bottom dart where it is, because that's going to make our new seam. But the top dart, let's rotate. So trace around the area that you know isn't going to move. And now let's rotate that top dart. So put a pencil in your apex and rotate the top part closed. And now we can trace around the rest of our dart, all the way up until our new dart position in our armhole. And then we take it away and we can draw in our new dart legs. So we draw from our apex to each point of the dart. And then we simply join our 2 darts to create our seam. And you can see it's a bit pointy, so let's round that off so it's a little bit nicer for us to stitch. And there you are, you've got your 2 pieces. This is your first piece. And remember, we go around the rounded point. And this is your second piece. Again, we go for the nice smooth rounded point or edge. And there are your 2 pieces. So the first thing we want to do is mark on our new seam lines. So I'm going to go from my centre front through my bust point and into my armhole. And now we want to rotate the bottom dart into the centre front and the top dart into the armhole. We know this area won't move, and we know that this area won't move. So let's start by tracing those ones first. And then you want to grab a pencil or something sharp, pop it in your bust point and rotate your bottom dart closed. And now we can trace around that section of the block. And if you go back to your original position and then rotate your top dart closed and then trace around that section of the block. If we take away our original block, we can see now we've got two new darts. So let's join those up from our bust point to both of our dart points. And now we can see we've got two very distinct pattern pieces. So this is our first one, our yoke, and this is our second one, our bodice piece. We no longer need these lines. And there you've got it. The first step that we want to do is to mark on our new seam lines, so that's the top edge of our new waistband. The next step is we want to rotate this dart into the bottom one to combine them. And remember, we don't need the waistband. So let's start by tracing around the area that we know isn't going to move, so that's our centre front. And then grab a pencil and put it in your bust point and rotate your top dart closed. Now let's trace around the rest of the block, all the way down until we hit our new seam line. And let's mark in the other half of the dart. Using your pattern master, finish off the bottom edges of your block and make sure that your bust dart is extended to meet at the point. So now that's the first two steps done, let's create the waistband. So you simply trace around the area that you've marked off as the waistband. And then you join it with the other side. So you're joining it on the seam or line of what would have been the dart. And then using your pattern master, you can join the points up to create your new seam. And that's your waistband. No longer need this old dart line, and you can curve off this corner here. So the first step is that we want to combine our top darts with our bottom darts so that we're working with two darts rather than four. So let's do this by tracing off the areas that we know aren't going to move. So that's the lower section of our front bodice, and we also know that our front neck isn't going to move, so let's trace that as well. And then you want to grab a pencil or something sharp, put it in your bust point, and rotate one of your top darts closed. And now let's trace around that half of the block that's left. And going back to our original position, we do the same but on the other side. So put a pencil in your bust point and rotate that top dart closed and trace around the remainder of the block. And if you take away your block, you can see we just need to extend our darts to make sure that they meet at the dart point or apex. And that's the first step done. So now the second step is to rotate one of our darts. I'm going to rotate it using the slash and spread method. So the first thing we need to do is draw on the position of our new dart. I'm just going to cut this off to make it slightly easier to work with. And now we want to cut along one side of our dart and all the way along our new dart line. And this is the slash part of the slash and spread. And then we simply want to close up the old dart. And we can see that the new dart has automatically opened up on the new dart line. And that's the spread part of slash and spread. So grab some tape and tape up your old dart closed. Making sure that you tape all the way to the bust point. And now we can rotate our second dart. So let's mark on our new dart position, just like we did with the first one. And again, let's do this with slash and spread. So let's cut along one side of the dart and all the way along the new dart line. And now you can see where we've cut, and we simply close the old dart so that it automatically opens at the new dart line. Let's tape this one closed just like we did with the first one. And there we've got our new piece. So this area is the area that's going to be visible, and these two areas are our darts. Thanks so much for watching. Please follow and subscribe for more tutorials.